All right, hello everyone, and welcome to our workshop today on the secret funnel strategy that all remodelers should be using. A lot of folks don't really use funnels, maybe don't even know what they are. So I'm looking forward to teaching you, kind of how funnels work and why you should be using them as well. This really is the secret funnel strategy that will help bring in more qualified leads for you over the long term. So, you guys by now, you probably know who I am. Most of you folks are on these webinars on a regular basis, so I won't go through the whole list. But as you know, we're a marketing consultant industry partner for all the major associations. This is what we do day in and day out. We just work with remodelers, builders, general contractors. We got also some other home improvement companies we work with, like roofers, window companies, siding, guys, and things like that. But this is what we do day in and day out. So just wanted to kind of point that out to you because you really want to make sure you're dialed in on your messaging, who your ideal customer avatar is, what kind of marketing channels work for your industry. That really goes a long way into how effective your marketing strategies really can be. So, without further ado, let's just jump in. What is a funnel and why do remodelers, builders, why do you guys need a funnel? Um, a funnel, really, in simple terms, is about raising awareness, generating interest from your ideal customers, getting them to that decision-making process, and then getting them to take an action, i.e., to call you, to engage with you, to become a prospective customer for you, and not just kind of a looky-loo out there. Kind of defined, a funnel really is a marketing concept that describes a journey a customer takes from first hearing about a product or service, that's that awareness stage, to actually becoming interested in that service. That's that interest stage, stage two. And then from there, they decide to actually make that purchase. And that's that decision making stage. And then finally, you're trying to get them to take that action. That you want them to either submit their information on a web form, you want them to pick up a phone and actually call you. Maybe they follow one of your ads and they engage with that product you're putting out there, that maybe that guide, that kitchen remodeling guide, something like that. You're trying to really take them through the step-by-step process that guides that potential customer into making that choice. This is not just like a referral that you get where they, make the call and it's just easy. It's a slam dunk. We all know that relying on referrals is really not scalable. A lot of you guys built your business on referrals. I did the same thing. And those really are the best leads. Referrals really are the best leads. There's just no doubt about it. They come pre-positioned to buy. Their neighbor, their family member, they've already talked you up. You're the best company to work with. You're so nice. Your communication is great. You talk about your timelines. They had a great experience. The neighbor had the great experience that used you to begin with, or their brother or sister that referred them to you. They come pre-positioned to buy. It's just so easy. It should be anyways to close those leads. And that's what makes these leads so valuable. They're you don't you The problem is you don't have a predictable, steady lead flow of referrals. They come randomly, right? You might get 3 or 4 referrals in one month, but then you may go 3 or 4 months without a referral, and you can't really build a business on that. You can't really figure out what your cash flow is going to be, and how are you going to be able to pay your employees from month to month if you don't really know what that lead flow is going to look like from month to month. To grow consistently, you need to actively reach new audiences through marketing and other strategies, whether that be online digital marketing or whether that be offline marketing, print publications, neighborhood circulars and magazines, things like that. So, what we do is we use the modern funnel strategy to help attract the right leads and to help filter out those tire kickers. So, um, uh, what again, you really want to take it back to the beginning and really think about, are you creating awareness? When you think about your company right now, are you creating any awareness, or are you just sitting back and just say, hey, we got our website out there, we've got some referrals coming in? Are you going through all these steps? And so that's what I really want to make sure that everyone's really focused on, these 4 steps. These are the most important 4 steps, and then you build that funnel around those. And so, well, what we're going to talk about today is that remodeler funnel framework that we're using for clients that most remodelers are using, or should be using at least. So let's talk about how do we attract people to your funnel. And this is what we consider the top of the funnel. When we really look at funnels, really visualize that funnel. And you think of top of the funnel, and then as they start going down to the funnel, they start squeezing down. And then you have people dropping out of the bottom of the funnel. The reason that funnel is much smaller is because you don't have as much going in as you have at the top. So when we talk about, top of the funnel, what is really working? Your website and having a great SEO plan, being dialed in. You have to be on page 1 of Google to really get that brand visibility. So either your website's at the top of Google, or your Google business page, your Google business profile. That's that Google Maps section. That's what we call local SEO. These are the things that are really working. Again, it's that page 1 visibility on Google. We have a joke I like to share every now and then. Where's the best place to hide a dead body? Page 2 of Google. That no one's looking at page 2. It also shows you that we marketers are not probably not very funny, but I think that's funny because no one's really going to page 2. You really want to be on page 1. So make sure your website's optimized for SEO. You're building your brand authority. You've got your testimonials. This goes for your Google business profile as well. You've got a lot of reviews on there. You've got lots of keywords, all kinds of different keywords. You don't want to just be showing up for 1 or 2 keywords. You want to be showing up for as many keywords as you can, using them in different ways, in different paragraphs, different pages. Make sure you have those geotagged photos as well, and you're not using stock photos. The thing about stock photos, Google knows they're stock photos. Google also knows when you're using AI generated photos, and now they're labeling photos as AI generated so that people don't think, oh, that kitchen, that's beautiful. That's marvelous. It's not even your kitchen. You've never even done that job. That doesn't really, people kind of see that as a little bit deceitful, maybe. So use your own photos. You guys are all quality craftsmen on here. You've got some great craftsmen working for you, people that have been doing this. You guys are putting out good work. So you want to showcase that work. And by saying geotagged photos, what I mean by that is when you take pictures of your jobs on the job site with your iPhone, your Android phone, that data is being embedded into the photo. Google knows where that picture was taken. When you upload it, they can read all that. It's called metadata. It's embedded into the photo. So it knows, where that photo was taken, that zip code, that address. Maybe not down to the exact address, but at least within a few houses. And so Google knows, hey, you're an expert in that area. And that's what kind of starts satisfying that EAT algorithm. Do you have experience and expertise in that area? And then that's what's going to build, trust for you and build that authority for you. And then also you want to make sure you're showcasing your service areas, all the different areas that you work in. So make sure that's on your Google business profile as well as your website. You can have all those service areas listed at the bottom of your website, down near the footer or in your footer, or you can have different pages that showcase each of those different areas. And then maybe a project that you've done in that area. And then Google goes to that page, sees that service area. You're talking all about that service area. You've got photos on there. Maybe you've got a video on that page. And then Google knows those photos, that video came from that service area. And now they think, oh, okay, this, ABC Remodeling, they are experts at working in that area of Austin or in that area of Denver, wherever it may be. The other thing is organic content. Make sure that you're putting real authentic content out there. Before and after photos are really, really good so that people can really see the difference. And one thing about before and after photos, make sure you're taking it from the exact same spot, the exact same angle, because a lot of times I see before and after photos, and they are not taken from the same area, the same spot, and you're like, well, I don't really get how that's the same job. You want to see that transformation. We use this little widget on our websites that we build for clients, and maybe you guys are using this, but it has a slider down the middle of the picture. And so on the left side of the picture is the old photo. And then as you slide over back and forth, you see the old photo and then you see the new photo. And so it starts in the middle so that you're like, ooh, what's this? And then you slide it over to the right, it shows the whole old photo, slide it all the way back over to the left, and it shows the new picture. And so it's kind of cool. People can play with that and go, wow, what a transformation that is. And so that's that wow factor that people are looking for. It also keeps them on your site longer because they're kind of playing around a little longer. One other thing that will keep them on your site longer is short form videos. These are the ones that you're using for your reels or shorts on Facebook or Instagram. These videos are great for your social media, but you can also put those on your website as well. People are more likely to watch videos than they are to read all your content on your website at about 8 times the rate. They like to watch videos. That's why cat videos go viral. People like to watch videos. It's engaging. It keeps you're like, what's next? What's next? Whereas reading a website, you can see what's next. A whole lot of content. They're like, I just want to see the pictures, see the transformations taking place. Is this the kind of work that I'm looking for? Um, and then you can also put videos on YouTube as well. Google owns YouTube, so that's going to be good for building more authority, kind of keeping all that in your SEO program and tying everything together, everything kind of working in synergy together. And then, of course, your blog posts. Make sure it's authentic content. We're getting to a world where AI is writing a lot of content, but use AI as your starting point. I've talked about this. We did a webinar on AI earlier this year. Use AI as your starting point to get some ideas flowing, and then expand upon that with your own writing, your own ideas, projects you've worked on, things that you know in the industry. Those FAQs that you have on your website and on your Google page. Everyone does have those FAQs, right? Make sure you do, because that's what people are looking for. They have questions. If you ever, think about FAQs, think about all the questions that you get from prospective customers or from customers throughout a job. Those become your FAQs so that you're helping future customers find answers to the questions that they're going to eventually have anyways. And then another strategy for building that top of your funnel is using ads, your Google local service ads. Nextdoor is really powerful. Nextdoor is almost like a referral source, a little, kind of not a referral, but not a cold lead either, just finding you on Google. So Nextdoor ads can be really, really effective. And then, of course, your Facebook, your Instagram posts, maybe boosting those posts. You can try playing around with boosting a little bit. Sometimes we see some good engagement from that. Other times we don't. And then it's really hard to measure that. So if you got a little extra money to play with, you can boost posts for a few bucks a day. It's not going to break the bank, and you are going to reach a larger audience. And then, different kinds of diversity platforms out there. LinkedIn, that's more business to business, but you guys are also, looking for probably business to business opportunities too. So that can be helpful. Meta's got their whole suite of things, from their organic posting to their ads, to their video shorts and reels and stuff. I mentioned YouTube before. YouTube is great. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. Most people don't know that. People go to Google first, mainly. That's 90% of the market share, and then people go to YouTube next. Again, people love videos. I think TikTok's going to start. It's going to not start. It's going to keep gaining more and more in popularity because of that video popularity. People like to watch videos. Right now, though, TikTok is more for the younger generation, so it's going to take a little bit before it starts moving up in age demographics. I don't think it's ever going to get to the point where the older demographics are going to watch TikTok, but the younger generation of home buyers will. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about doing a TikTok page. And then your refresh tactics, and this is kind of moving beyond like doing live stuff on Facebook. If any of you guys are doing that, it's so easy to do live stuff. Go out on the job site. Hey, we're out here. Let them know the area you're in, the neighborhood, whatever it might be. Let them know the project you're working on, and so then you can do those progress updates, periodically, just so that people can check in on that. And again, it just gets people engaging with you anymore. Think about trends that might be going on in the industry, going from one certain type of cabinet to another, new flooring, maybe dark hardwoods are out, and maybe it's more of the pine like colored hardwoods that are coming in now. Different client features. You can think about different technology features, different kind of innovations. We were just at KBIS out in Las Vegas. So many innovations and certainly in technology that are coming into homes now. So that's something really to think about as well. So that gives you some idea of how do you kind of create interest at the top level of that funnel, how you're kind of creating that awareness really. And then the next step is really capturing the middle of the funnel, getting people now you've got their interest and awareness, and now they want to opt into something, and this is what we mean by opting in. We want them to ask for something. We want to give them something, and so what we call that are lead magnets. It's attracting leads like a magnet would. And so what you're giving them is something that will help convert them to want to follow you, to want to get what you have. So usually it's like some kind of a PDF guide. So some examples might be, kitchen trends for 2025. What are the trends? What are you guys seeing out there? What do people keep asking for? What are your designers coming up with? What do they see in the design industry? What did you see out there at KBIS in Las Vegas? What are the trends that you were seeing out there that's the real buzz, everything that it's talking about? And that way, maybe your customer knew that trend already and you're just reinforcing it. Or maybe you're giving them new information to where they say, oh, wow, I didn't know that was going on. Like, ooh, I want to learn more about that. Now you've got their interest. Maybe you do a cost breakdown checklist because a lot of people don't know, how prices have went up so much. They know the price of eggs went up and inflationary concerns all across a lot of the food staples and gas and things like that. But maybe they're not really thinking about, hey, I bet you my kitchen's going to go up in price too. So give them an idea, create that cost breakdown. Maybe you have a cost calculator that you can create based on square footage, based on different levels of finish, basic, kind of a mid-range, or a luxury level of finish, and you can kind of help them figure out what is it going to really cost them to do this kitchen, because a lot of people really don't have a true realistic perception of what it costs, and a lot of people go, oh, that was a bad lead. It wasn't a bad lead. It's a good lead. They want a kitchen. They just don't know what it costs nowadays. And so you can be the one to educate them. Someone's got to educate them. You can hang up, you can say, no, $20,000 is not going to cut it for a kitchen. Thanks for calling. Click, hang up on them. Or you can be the one that educates them, that kind of limps them along, walks them through that process. And then maybe 3, 6, maybe even 12 months later, then they finally say, you know what, we're finally ready. And you're the only one that really talked to us and kind of helped walk us through this process, because this is our first renovation. This is our first remodel. We didn't really know. And thank you for being so educational and so helpful along that process. So it's kind of the same things that we do. I try to put as much value and education out there. I've had clients come to me, or not clients, but just people in my funnel come to me after 2 or 3 years and finally say, Bob, I'm finally at a point. I'm ready to work with you. That literally happened a month and a half ago. It's 3 years. And so that can happen for you too. These are big purchase decisions. Everyone's not going to call and say, yep, I'm ready to go. It's going to take some weeks, months, maybe even years. And so you want to be that company that helps nurture that lead. Another thing, like a free project planner, how to really plan for the timelines, everything that's going to need to be done. Are they going to need to be out of the house? What's that going to look like? Everything that might come into from design and really putting all that together to plans and permitting, and then finally, that first day when you guys show up, what's that going to look like? So those are a lot of things that you can do, and you really want to have landing pages for this as well. Separate landing pages. So that way you can track this stuff, and people opt in on this landing page, and then they fill out that form, and you get that name, you get the email, their phone number, and what that project is. Don't ask for too much information in the form. I've seen that with some forms. You might think, oh, the more information I get, the more I can kind of disqualify this prospective customer. Are they the right fit or not? And that's very true. You start asking all these things and asking for their price and their budget. And that way you go, oh yeah, no, they don't have the budget, so I'm just not going to reply to them. Again, I just said that, don't do that. But the other reason is the more you ask for in a form, the less of a chance you have at a conversion. People don't want to put in all this information. They want to put in the basics. They know they've got to give up their name and address and email, probably. They know they have to give that up to get what you have to offer them. And so they're okay with that. But then when you start asking for their age demographic, their income, their budget, things like that, I've seen those multi-level forms that are 3, 4 pages, 20 questions. And people just, they don't want to give that information. They also don't have time for that. So really think about that. I would also make sure that you're putting ad pixels on there, just in case if you ever do start running ads in the future, you will have accumulated all that data because Google and Facebook both, for some of their ad platforms, some of the ads that you can run, you need at least 100 different impressions to prove that you have a page that people are wanting to come to. Google ads can be 1,000 impressions before they can, start letting you run those ads and really give you data that you're looking for. So go ahead and put those pixels on there. You can go to either platform. You can go to Google Analytics 4 as well to track those form submissions. But you want to be tracking that. Put those pixels on. They give you a code, give it to your web developer. They'll throw it into the code on your website. And now you can track those form fills. You can track that, the scrolls. You can track those clicks. You can track what all pages they're going to. You can track how long they're on each page. Are they going to a page and everyone bounces after 5 seconds? Okay, there's something wrong with that page. Maybe the headline just turns people off. Maybe the layout. Maybe it's just the wrong information that people are diagnosing it quickly. And so that lets you know, hey, I got to do something with that page. So it's really great to have these pixels on there, and definitely that Google Analytics as well. And then the AI chat bots, you should be using those. That way you can capture people immediately. They can start talking to that chat bot. One of the concerns people have is that, oh, it's a chat bot. I don't want to talk to a robot. Very true. I won't dispute that. But AI chat has come so far that you almost don't know it's a robot. It might slip up every now and then, but you can customize your chat robots now to where you give them all the questions that they would possibly be asked. And so you're prepping it that way. Like it's a language learning model. That's why they call them LLMs. It's actually learning your language, and you can also program those chats to talk in your tone. So you can make it so it's playful and funny, maybe a little whimsical, if you wanted to, kind of emulate your personality, and that's going to give it more of a feel of realism as well. So these are things that you can do. I mean, think about AI is almost driving cars now. I mean, Tesla's got their full driving mode. I read a lot on that where people like, I drove, 2 hours and I never touched my steering wheel or anything. If it can drive a car and change lanes and pass people and avoid wrecks and do all that, it could certainly talk to your customers to at least get that conversation going. We're not saying that it's going to replace all the conversations, but it gets it going. It gets that lead into your funnel. And that's what we're talking about here, right? Is capturing people into your funnel and getting that process started. And then the third step in that funnel is the nurture. And this is kind of going from the middle of the funnel down to the bottom of the funnel. And so what we found that's working there right now is automated workflows. And what I mean by that is this is your CRM here, to where you'll be able to send out automated emails, text sequences, where you can share your project timelines, your FAQs, price ranges that they might be interested in. Remember, these aren't your customers yet. You're prepping them with information. You're giving them all this information and this free education, this value, in other words, so that they eventually will work with you. Case studies, maybe you can be sending those out in emails. Those are very powerful. Testimonials, awards, these are things that keep people, that's that wow factor. You send them on a case study. Hey, Tim, just checking in with you, wanted to share a job that we are working on. And then you kind of go through that in the email. Maybe you've got a picture embedded there, or better yet, you drive them to your website. If you want to learn more about this project, click here. Of course, they're probably going to click if they're interested in the project you're doing. They're going to go to your website. Now you've got someone on your website. Now you've got a chance to recapture them, to get them to stay on your website, to build more of that brand awareness. So case studies are great. Testimonials, especially video testimonials. If you can get one of your customers to do a video testimonial, do a walkthrough with them in the new kitchen, and just kind of showing it off. And you've prepped them with some things to maybe say, just kind of help them along a little bit. Super, super powerful. And then awards, if you've won an award with an association or a design award, something like that, maybe you won something in the Chamber of Commerce, any kind of award, to really just kind of brag on yourself, but it really reinforces the quality of company that they could be doing business with. You can also use the what we call behavior-based urgency. We only take on 4 projects per month. We've only got 2 more for the month of April here. If you want to get in now, get on our wait list. Opt into to this form, to this thing now, and that way you capture that, and that urgency, that scarcity. They don't want to miss out, so they may want to opt in just based on that. Like, oh man, I really like what these guys are doing. I've been following their stuff. They've only got 2 spots left. Maybe I'll just go ahead and sign up. There's no monetary commitment, anything like that, but they're making a commitment nonetheless, and so that draws them closer to you. So those work really well. I was talking about CRMs. There's all kinds of CRMs out there. A lot of folks are using Builder or JobTread. Those are full CRMs that do all the project management and possibly everything that you want in there, as well as client communications. We use Go High Level. We also white label that and build that out for our clients, build that into our program so that we have that follow up. We've got a snapshot in Go High Level that will do all that stuff for you, build out sales pipelines, move people through that pipeline from inbound lead to discovery call to a design consultation on site, to all the way through to the sale, and then when the project actually kicks off. So you've got that. There's Keep, HubSpot. A lot of people I know that use HubSpot. HubSpot's very expensive, kind of like the other one, the big ones out there. But they're $1,000 a month, something like 1,200. That's a lot for a CRM. Our CRM, I think we bill maybe 200-300 for that. Just depends on all the features that we can build into it. We can slim it down. We can build it out. But so there are a lot of options there. And then, you've got your other first party data tools for collecting information from forms, those exit pop-ups when people are on the page and they go to leave and boom, you can pop that form up. That just happened to me today. They're like, oh, don't go yet. One of those things. So, kind of interactive tools that you can get, like that cost calculator I was talking about, estimate the cost of your kitchen remodel based on square footage and level of finish, things like that. So there's a lot of things that you can do to really kind of keep reinforcing that interest that they have, keep them opting into something, and you're constantly following up with them. It's not just this thing goes out once or twice and that's it. It's what's next? What do you send them next? You send them this, you send them a case study, then you send them a testimonial, then you send them that cost calculator. You just constantly keep sending them stuff, basically till they say, I'm ready to work with you, or stop sending me stuff. I went with someone else. But you keep them in your funnel. These are long-term prospects, or this is not the big red easy button, the instant gratification society that we live in right now. You want to nurture them. Again, this could be for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. Most of it's automated. Almost all of it's automated. So don't be overwhelmed. Like, oh my God, I can't do all this. I can't keep up with this. I'll forget. And yeah, exactly. You will forget. So Think about that, about the long-term nature of this, and then getting them to the bottom of the funnel. This is where you want to convert them. By converting, that means they're submitting a form. They're ready to talk to you. They're on your booking page and they're booking a time on your calendar. I suggest that everyone, get a booking calendar built into your website. You can use Calendly. That's a popular one. I used to use that, but now we use Go High Level for everything. But do some kind of a calendar or scheduler on there. Again, it's just to get something that on the calendar for them to say we've got a commitment. They've made a commitment. These micro commitments are what reinforce the big commitment, which is actually saying let's work together. So give them a chance to book some time with you. And if it doesn't work out, then you can cut that call, short. A lot of people they don't want to give that calendar and say, oh, I don't want people filling my calendar with garbage appointments. You can see, if you get someone books on there and it's, some vendor trying to sell you something, just cancel it. You don't have to show up to it. I It happens to us all the time, so that's why I'm giving you guys that advice. I'll see someone from India or Pakistan or something. Hey, we can help you with your SEO. It's like, no, that's what we do. Why would I need your help? And so I just delete them off my calendar and delete the appointment, and we're back open again. And then CTAs, calls to action. And so you see those buttons, throughout your website, right? A lot of people say contact us, and every button's a contact us. Or you've only got it like maybe in one place or two places. Have a lot of CTA buttons, ones that say let's talk, ones that say start your project, ones that say maybe book a design call. Just vary it up based on the content of that paragraph, the content of that page. Every page is going to be different, kitchen page, bathroom page, maybe basements, whatever. So vary those buttons up, put them everywhere. Give people a chance to connect with you as many places as possible, because if you make them scroll up, find your contact page or find your form, where'd the form go? I thought it was in the footer. Oh, it's not on the footer of every page. It was only on that page. Now you're cutting down your conversion. So think about how can you get them the easiest path to connect with you? That's what you're really trying to do. And then you can do that personalized phone follow up. You could send branded welcome kits. With those CRM sequences that I was talking about, if someone books something on your calendar or if someone submits a web form, you should have triggers that are firing that send not only emails and text to them to say, hey, we'll be in touch shortly, but it's going to you as well, or your office manager, so that they know, hey, a form has been submitted. Because your folks aren't sitting in email all day waiting for an incoming email to say, hey, you've got a form submission. You've got to have that triggering to them to say, hey, thanks for submitting the form. Our staff will be in touch with you shortly. And that's just really abbreviated. Your email is going to be longer. Your text may be, that short. But you also want that triggering to send off to you or your office manager, whoever's going to follow up, your salesperson, maybe it's you. And it sends you an email. It sends you a text. Hey, so-and-so, token field, Bob Smith just submitted a form on your website and they're interested in another token field because they chose kitchen remodeling as what they were interested in. So now Bob Smith's interested in kitchen remodeling and he just submitted that form and you got to call him now. So pretty much drop what you're doing and get on the phone and call him. I cannot reinforce this enough for you folks on here. Do that. It just happened to me yesterday. We had an incoming form come in, and it was from Chicago. We're in Denver, and he said, I'm interested. I've just got a website built, and now I need SEO. I want to show up on page Google. Are you interested in talking with me? I got that in real time, and I was on the phone with him. And 2 minutes later, hey, yeah, I got time. Or I wasn't on the phone immediately. I sent him a follow-up in chat, and then we had a call 2 hours later. So all that happened, all automatically, besides me showing up to the phone call, actually dialing the number at the set time. So make sure all that's happening in your workflow, in your CRM. automate all that stuff. Another thing too is I don't know if you guys are doing the leave behinds when you go out and do a design consultation. Leave a folder behind that has a nice welcome letter in it. It has glossy photos of some of the work you've done. It has another glossy page of like all your testimonials maybe lined up. Maybe another page with this is our process. This is our three-step process of consultation, design, construction. Things like that. I've talked to remodelers and, they don't do that at all. Or like, oh yeah, we used to do that. And it's like, why'd you stop doing that? Like, oh, I don't know. Well, COVID came and we just stopped doing it because we didn't go out there anymore. Like, well, COVID's gone, or that's not gone, but those dark days where you couldn't go out to people's homes, that's gone. And so I don't always understand why people don't keep doing those things. They work. People, they want to look at that stuff. They want to have something to follow up with. I had an appointment with two security companies to see if I, wanted to install a security system in my home. And one came out and kind of walked around, looked at some things, and gave me their card and walked out. Another one came in and they gave me this big old brochure and folder and all this stuff. It was a great presentation. It doesn't take too much to build a presentation like that from a print standpoint. So make sure you're doing that. Maybe even put a QR code on there for scheduling on your calendar. They can just scan that with their phone. Boom, schedule something, and now you've got something set. You can even put that QR code on your website because most people are get into your website via their mobile phone, their mobile devices, either a phone or a tablet, about 70%. And so they can just, scan that code and boom, now they're scheduling. So make sure you're doing that. And then, of course, all those automated reminders, confirmations, that CRM workflow got you that appointment, send out all that stuff for you, all that follow up. And now you want to make sure that you send a reminder. I send reminders the day before, the morning of, and then an hour before, just to make sure, hey, you got an appointment because people are going to forget. They got all kinds of stuff going on in this, crazy chaotic world we live in right now. So just, hey, you got an appointment coming up in an hour. I'm looking forward to talking to you. Kind of a message like that. And then the one that's an hour before is, hey, you can go ahead and log into the Zoom session, and here's the link. It's a quick one. So these are not all long, obnoxious messages. Just a reminder. You got an appointment coming up today. You got an appointment coming up in an hour. Go ahead and log in now. So you can do all that with automation. So make sure you're doing that as well. And then, here's just kind of a screenshot of just kind of an example. Ours are in our workflows. They're built vertically and they're so long that I couldn't really capture a picture of it. So, kind of built this as it's kind of an if-then statement. If this happens, then this. If the other thing happens, then that. And so you've got a customer lead that comes in. You send them out a text message really quick. Hey, this is Bob from ABC Remodeling. Thanks for reaching out via the form on our site. Would you like to schedule a time for your service call now? They follow up with a yes or no, and then depending on what they do, yes, go to here, yes, okay, go here to our calendar, book, no, okay, no problem, we'll follow up with a call and we'll get in touch with you instead, and then the same thing with an email. So it's kind of like this tree that keeps going off in all these options, and so this is just kind of an example of what a workflow looks like. You got to have those if-then statements. If they say yes, go here. If they say no, go here, and then it just keeps branching out like that. What you're trying to do is capture that appointment. I'm not saying that has to be super long. Some of ours are super long. Some are only maybe 2-3 steps through it. But that's what we're really trying to do is just kind of walk them through those steps and make it automated so you're not doing this. If they book a calendar appointment, boom, they booked it. They get their reminders. Now you get emails and texts. Hey, Bob just booked with you on your calendar, and here's the information. Or if they say no, I don't want to book a calendar appointment, then it's like great, we'll follow up with you. And now those emails and triggers are firing to get you that information so that you can get on the phone and follow up with them. So super easy concept. little, a little bit of work setting that up, but it's that, you put that work in up front, an hour, maybe a couple hours, and now it's set up for good. It's going to serve you well, well into the future. So that's just kind of some examples of how you can set that up. But make sure you're doing that. Don't be afraid of automation. It makes life so much easier. Kind of goes back to that statement of work smarter, not harder. Let your CRM do the heavy lifting for you, and then all you need to do is follow up with that phone call. So, what if you have a funnel? You've already got one working. You're ahead of the game. Good for you. How do what if you have a funnel that you need to fix? What are some of the problems you might be having with your funnels, and how to fix it? And so, let's go through some examples there. So, let's say you have a weak lead magnet. You're not really, you're trying to offer them something, and it's just not. You're trying to offer them a kitchen remodeling guide, and you thought you did a good job with it, with the language and the opt-in and the landing page you built for it, the ad copy that you're using, but maybe it's just not working. You're just not getting very many opt-ins. So maybe you try something different. You offer like a simple checklist so that that they go, oh wow, I can use a checklist. Just make sure I'm doing these things right. I'm getting all my ducks in order. Or do a video. Video is super popular and super successful at getting those opt-ins. So a video might be something like a customer testimonial, possibly could be you as the owner or designer talking about a project you just did. Anything that will engage them a little more is going to increase those opt-ins. It's easy to consume this kind of information, provide some immediate value to them, to that prospective customer. And that immediate value then will encourage them to actually, opt in to sign up for what it is that you're offering. And then maybe you don't have that call to action that I was talking about before, those different buttons, those different messages that you have on those buttons. Maybe you don't have it above the fold. And what I mean by above the fold is when you land on a website, above the fold is what you see right there when you first land before you start scrolling. You've got it. That's you. You must have your important information there. A big headline. You got to have an opt-in button or a form. Right there. Don't make them do any more work. Remember, I told you the more work they have to do, it's going to cut down on those conversions. If they've got to, scroll here or go to this page and then go to this, all those steps, each one serves to cut down on those conversions. So make sure you have the important information and either a form or a button above the fold. And then they can scroll and they can find another button or they can find a form down at the bottom of the page. But have something at the top that really is a clear call to action on what you want them to do. They see it right away, and then they can take that action. That's going to definitely increase your chances of capturing their attention and getting them to take that action, whether that be that opt-in to your lead magnet, whether that be scheduling on your calendar, or whether that be submitting a web form, whatever it is that you're trying to get them to do. The idea of a website is a landing a page, lots of landing pages, in fact, for people to come and learn more about your company. But the other function of a website is to get someone to take an action. You don't just put your website out there for people to just, look at it. You want them to take an action. You want them to become a customer, right? We're not just, we're not artists. We're not just doing art. We want them to actually go beyond just looking, reading. We want them to take that action. So that's going to really help you in that regard. And then also, maybe your problem is you're not following up with your opt-in prospective customers, and so that's just where we come back to the CRM. We come back to those what I call nurture sequences. It's lead nurture. You're nurturing that lead along. Sales follow-up is an easy way to think about it. So maybe you create a 3 email nurture sequence. I've got nurture sequences that are 50 emails long, that just kind of just keeps giving value, keeps giving information. You don't want to leave your audience hanging. You want to set up a follow-up sequence of 3 emails minimum to get them to engage, to help answer some of the questions that they might have. Again, going back to those FAQs that you've been accumulating over the years. And you also want to encourage them to take a further action in order to interact with you or to get you closer to that sale. So in those emails, it's not just, some educational topic. It's take another action. Click on this link to learn more. Click here to schedule. Click here to set up an appointment. So you're constantly trying to get them to take the next action, one action after another, eventually get you connected with your customers on a phone call, a Zoom call, or maybe an appointment out at their residence. And then the other thing is maybe you don't even have automation set up at all. And so the first thing, make sure you're using a CRM, make sure you're not, working out of a yellow pad and pencil. We are in the 21st century now. You got to bring your business into the 21st century as well. And so make sure you have that Google Analytics for set up for all the events that are happening, all those tags that you have in your CRM. If you're not using your CRM to your fullest extent, a tag is whenever someone clicks on, let's say, your kitchen remodeling guide, they automatically get assigned a tag in your CRM. You've captured their name, their address, their email. Now you assign a tag to them that says remodeler checklist, something like that, whatever you want it to be. Or cost calculator. You give them a tag so that you know what action they've taken. And so now that might be a different sequence. Someone that clicked on the kitchen remodeling guide may be going down a different email sequence, a different line of messaging than someone that clicked on the cost calculator. They may end up getting some of the same things here and there, but they're different paths. And so you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 different paths that they can go down based on, 10 different lead magnets, 10 different things that you're giving them. And so you really want to make sure that all that automation is set up so that you're capturing all the events, every action that they're taking. You can look at what they've done, what they've opted into, what are their interests. And so you can help them more with that. We're just like marketers like us, you guys are here to give value. You're trying to educate the customer and give them as much as you can. And then at some point they go, wow, this is a great company. They've given me so much. They've helped me along the way. This is a company that I can work with. You're just trying to be a good company, be the right person, do the right thing. And by tracking that behavior, it gives you those key actions that you can automate, thus saving you time, and then optimizing your marketing efforts. It's really key to go beyond that referral mindset and start thinking about how can I become a better marketer? How do you market your company better? And this is stuff that you can do on your own. Obviously, this is what we do for a living, but you can do this on your own and become a better marketer, and you will grow your company. You will get more opportunities, and more opportunities means more consultations. More consultations means more opportunity to close sales and actually make those sales and grow your revenue. So think about, are you really becoming the best marketer that you can be, or will some of these steps kind of help you along? And so, just to kind of recap, a marketing funnel, it isn't magic. Things don't just happen magically. It's a repeatable, trackable system. That's the best way to describe it. You want things going out and automatically. You want to be able to repeat things without your intervention, and you want to be able to track all those steps that people are taking, all those actions they're taking, so that you can better deliver to them what information they might be looking for. So, for everyone on here today, I challenge you to just kind of pick one thing from today and say, I will implement this week. I will build one lead magnet, a kitchen remodeling guide, or a cost calculator page that is hidden on your website maybe, and you have to opt into, that funnel to get to it. Or you can also have the cost calculator openly visible on your page, on a resource page or something like that. But Pick something from today and say, what can I do better? Maybe you make a video, and you turn that into part of your opt-in funnel. And you can just do this on your Facebook page. You don't even have to run an ad. You can throw a Facebook post up and throw up a quick video and see if you can get some engagement from that. If you're starting to build a good following, someone that's been following you, they're not ready, and all of a sudden you throw up a video, give them something of value. They're like, oh yeah, I'll go check that out. Now you've got them, you've captured them. So I challenge you guys on here to pick something from today and implement it, just one thing, and see where it takes you, and then get back to me. I'd love for you to email or text me, hey Bob, I tried this, it's working great. Thanks for the help on that. Yeah, awesome. Let me know if I can give you more tips or any guidance there. I'm happy to do that. Let me know if you have any questions. I did see a question come in a couple minutes ago from Richard, and he said, why even have a funnel to begin with if I have enough leads already? It's a good question, Richard. The biggest thing is, do you really have enough leads already? Are you capped? Are you at the level of business you want to be at? Or do you want to grow? I mean, whether you're at 1 million now, whether you're at 3 million, 5 million, is that where you want to be? Or would you like to maybe add a couple more million to it? And so that's that growth mindset. A lot of remodelers, builders I talk to, I was at a happy hour last night with remodelers and builders here in Denver, and I'm talking to some folks. They're like, yeah, we're doing pretty good. Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're not. We don't even have to do much marketing. We're doing great. My question and my challenge to those folks and to you folks on here is, why not take that next step? If a million's good, what about 1.5 million? What about 2 million in annual revenue? If you're at 2 million or 3 million, why not 4 million or 5 million? Why not take that next step? That's what marketing will get you. And if you get so busy that you can't handle the workload, well, you've got two options. You can just turn customers away or refer them to your buddy. That's a win-win. Your buddy gets the job instead. Maybe he takes you out for a nice sushi dinner or something. Or your other option, the smarter option, is to hire more people to grow your company, to keep scaling. So that would be my answer, Richard, is just think about, do you want to grow some more? If you can put some of this into place, put a funnel into place, whether it be an organic funnel, whether it be an ads driven funnel, you're going to get more leads. You're going to have more opportunities. We worked with a really successful kitchen and bath remodeler. She's outside of Pennsylvania, or Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And she just turns away leads that she doesn't want. She's like very picky. She really wants to like the people she works with. If she doesn't feel a good fit, she just says, "No, I just don't think it's a good fit. I'm good at where I'm at income wise." So you can get to that point where you just cherry pick. What better life than that, to just cherry pick the 1 or 2 jobs that you want to do each month or each quarter. Like I said, you can turn the other ones away. But if you really have that growth mindset, which that's really what building a company is about. It's not a hobby. We're trying to grow our companies and become more successful and to help more people, serve our communities while also serving our families and our employees. So adapt that growth mindset, I would say, Richard, and think about, do you really want to grow, and how can I use a funnel to make that happen? So think about that. We're starting to come up on an hour here. If you've got any other questions for me, let me know. I'm happy to follow up with you. There's a lot to funnels. There's a lot of little tips and tricks and things that I might be able to help you with, to help you kind of avoid some of the pitfalls. Also, make sure that you're testing your funnels. When you set up a funnel with some of this automated stuff, test that thing over and over. Use different emails. Follow all the links. Click on all the buttons, the yes, the no's. Make sure you test every branch of that funnel to make sure it's working well for you before you actually, set that into motion and let the public at it. That's a really big tip, is just make sure it really works. So anyways, I hope that this has helped everyone on here. Just love helping you guys grow. Nothing tickles me more than we have clients that are just achieving new revenue highs every year after year, whether that be 1 million or companies that we work with that are at 25 million and growing. Love seeing that growth. Love seeing that level of success. I mean, that's exciting. So any way that I can help you with any guidance, tips, or if you're interested in working with us, reach out. Happy to jump on a call with you and just kind of let what might be working, what you're doing now that's working, and where we might be able to help you at. So, thanks for everyone for being on the workshop today. Really enjoyed having you on here, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys on the next workshop next month. All right, take care, everyone.